for most situations, there is somebody able to effect change for those who are powerless. We're living where there are millions of people every day who need you to stand up for them. See, Esther makes us ask ourselves this very uncomfortable question. It says, what do I have power over so that I can affect change for somebody else who is God's child, who is in cycles of powerlessness and hopelessness? How can you take your skills, your position, your power, your influence, your place in society, wherever, whatever it is, to affect change for God's people? This is what we call Esther work. So maybe it's not as dramatic as Esther's story. Maybe you don't have the ability to change the course of life for generations to come. But what if you do have the power to change for some people? What if it's as simple as advocating for your child's teacher, or for your child at school with a difficult teacher? Maybe it's advocating for your spouse with a difficult mother or father-in-law. Or maybe it is advocating for your employees by offering a living wage when none of your other contemporaries are doing it. Or maybe it's spending time with a sick person. How do you position your life so that you, as whatever profession you are, lawyer, teacher, doctor, computer programmer, police officer, public servant, whatever it is, how do you position yourself so that you can care for God's children? It may be through volunteering for something like what we do, Food for the Summer, which is a program that in our area provides food for kids who are food insecure. Over the summer, they don't have access to food. Or maybe it's through some sort of community organizing, or maybe it's through, I don't know what it is. One thing that we do as Orange, Esther Work, is we help out with this thing called One Day with God. And I want to show you a video real quick about this work of One Day with God, this idea of Esther Work. This is an organization that comes and works with men who are incarcerated and their children. It's all over the country. They do it most of the weekends out of the year. So, Ryan, if we want to cue this up, let's check this out. This Esther Work.
Children of prisoners, the silent victims of incarceration, getting a rare opportunity, a chance to spend a single day with their fathers in prison. Some say it can make a world of difference. But how do you fit a lifetime's worth of parenting into just 24 hours? Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang goes behind prison walls for our series, Face to Face.
The program called One Day with God was founded by Scotty Barnes.
The importance of these boys and girls having relationships with their mothers and fathers.
She tells us her dad was a convicted drug dealer, spending most of her childhood locked up.
I'd never had a hug. I'd never even been told I love you by my dad.
You know, a lot of people on the outside would say, well, these guys are convicted murderers and you know, felons. Why do they deserve this kind of perk?
I think they forget that the children are the silent victims. The little children, by the time they're 8 and 9 years old, go out on the streets, and if their gangs are, come on over and join my family.
Jeremiah says it's giving him incentive so that the next time he's released in just 11 months, it'll be the last.
It's okay, you're only going to know it if you try.
Throughout the day, it's clear the dads are trying to cram years of parenting into a couple of hours.
The trick to cursive is staying on the same line.
One Day with God is in 7 states, fueled by private donations. At a time when prison reentry programs are being cut, they're expanding to 5 other prisons in Michigan alone. They may be walking in circles in a crowded gym, but for these fathers and sons, it's an intimate moment without the bars between them. Children of offenders are 6 times more likely than their peers to end up in jail themselves. 15-year-old Derikas Green Jr. is already in danger of fulfilling that prophecy. Today, he's wearing an ankle bracelet under strict supervision for his run-ins with the law. Derikas' dad is serving a life sentence for murder. So much loaded in one day. For the dads, a pledge to strive to be better. For the kids, a precious dose of what they need most. And for the rest of us, a reminder of what it means to be a good dad. And that the feeling of being embraced by your father can last forever.
The children.
So if you think about the powerless, people locked up, utterly powerless. And if you think about the other side of that, the kids who are powerless to see their dad. 1 in 6 are kids who have parents are incarcerated 6 times more likely to make it back to jail themselves. You know, we don't talk about standing up for the powerless. This is Esther Work. And this is the kind of work that God invites us into. We are all placed in particular situations for particular reasons. And just as Mordecai asked Esther, what if God has put you in this place for a reason? What if you're there for a good reason? See, God is in the business of standing up for those who are powerless. And today, if you yourself feel like you're in this powerless situation, like there's nobody out there to help you, like there's nobody there to stand up for you, like there's no hope, like there's no option for a future, the good news is that there is hope. There is good hope. The work of God becoming incarnate and coming to earth so that we would know hope is the story of we who are Christians. It's the story of the whole world. So whether you come here hopeless and powerless, which we all do, we like to come here with smiling faces and project this idea of control, but we're all powerless in lots of situations. We're powerless, whether it's with financial insecurity or with addiction or with marital problems or with work problems, with relationships problems. We're all powerless in some situation. And though God is in the business of raising you up from the powerless. Sometimes, maybe even most often, like with Esther, God uses other people to rescue you from the muck and the mire of this powerlessness. But right now, there is somebody in your life whose life you can advocate for. So this morning, as we'll kind of continue in worship, and we'll have some prayer time. I wonder, like, who is it that God's tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "This is my child, this is my beloved," and they're feeling a little powerless, and because of your position in life, you can give them hope. You can give them an option for life like they could never imagine, dream of, or hope for. So I wonder, like, what is your Esther work?